You can do it!
All right, what were we talking about?
So much music. Damn.
The barn burning.
Right, end of season 2 when we were shooting the barn on fire. It was so cold, all the fake bodies were frozen into the ground. And all the zombie extras, they had to digitally go in and remove their breath from the scenes because, of course, walkers aren't supposed to be warm. So between takes, we had to put blankets and snuggies on all the walkers so they didn't get pneumonia.
And when we were in the barn, we all stood around the barn and warmed our hands by the fire.
Yeah, we made marshmallows.
Get off your phone! Get off your phone!
What's been surprising about this season for you guys?
He's tweeting about
He's trying to play a song.
Tweet! You can do it!
Got some Sonic Youth fans in us?
Rob Zombie!
Seemed like fun.
That's the sound of the audience falling asleep.
So, what surprised you guys about this season?
Well, you know, going back to your original question about the winter episode, before we killed Lori, there was some discussion about going back in February and shooting just one episode where, per the graphic novel, when the governor attacks the prison in the graphic novel, that's when Lori dies. But there was discussion about shooting one episode where she gets separated from the group in the prison and wanders through the woods, pregnant, and has the baby alone in the woods, separated from the rest of the group. And we're going to shoot it as a winter episode.
You can do it!
I think we can do it. It would have been a great idea, but you know they all opted to do the
To do the Arnold Schwarzenegger impression because we got a bit loopy yesterday when we were flying and we all were doing Arnold all day. And by the end of the day, Greg's version of Arnold sounded French.
What is the matter with you? That's what dude Total Recall used to go. That's all he had to say. They thought he sounded.
Do you know who did that effect for Total Recall?
Rob Bottin.
That was. What is that line? She goes. She's like, I'm going to.
Yeah, and she.
Wait, I'm going. No. Like she goes. You know, where she's like, where are you going? She's like, I'm going to.
2 weeks!
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Very good. Hey, is there any movie nerds out here?
They're all movie nerds. You're all fucking movie nerds, right?
Well,
that's you, Norman. Boondocks.
Yeah, you know. I don't know what's up. Our producer just died on that CB, so we'll raise a glass to CB real quick.
you talked about just differing from the graphic novels. Like you sort of likened it to a freeway. I wonder if you could talk about that. Like how it's not you're not doing the exact same thing, but it gives you sort of a blueprint, right?
I didn't know who you were looking at.
I was looking at her.
Looking at her.
I didn't even hear what you said.
He has a wide gaze. I mean, I don't know. I think that's for you.
Well, you know, we have great source material. You know, the graphic novel's gone up to 107 issues. We probably hit about 30% of it. So we got a lot more story to tell.
Yeah.
And you know, when we shot The Mist, Stephen King made an interesting comment about the end of the movie because the movie ends very differently than the short story. And Stephen King kind of said, "Oh, I like the way you guys ended the movie. If I would have thought of that, I probably would have ended the book that way." So with Robert Kirkman, you know, having an opportunity to revisit the stories that he wrote 10 years ago and tell them in a different spin, he's all for all that stuff. So, you know, we sort of compare it to you're on a freeway and you get off and explore a little bit of. Am I boring you?
There's a giant us behind it. I can't look at it.
How many of you have read the comic books?
Everybody's looking at your ass right now.
You can do it!
What,
Talk about The Walking Dead.
We should probably take a step back there and just talk about how you guys got involved on this, because I mean, for instance, seeing you got super lucky on it. You came out for pilot season and ended up on him. Could you talk just a little bit about that?
Sure. My experience is one of those actor experiences where if you tell another actor, they want to kill you, because I was very fortunate. I moved out to Los Angeles from Chicago. To be fair, I was raised in Michigan. That's even worse. Wow.
Go Packers!
By the way, I don't mean this to be a jerk, but like for real, thank you for Prince Fielder. So I moved to LA I moved to LA and it was pilot season, and I was testing for this ABC pilot, and I didn't get it, and I was really sad, and then Walking Dead happened literally a month after, and if I would have booked that ABC pilot, I wouldn't have been able to do Walking Dead, and then Walking Dead turned into a fucking awesome show that you guys all love. That other show is like in television hell somewhere.
Yeah, right.
So it doesn't even exist. So thank you. That's a thank you to you guys. Thank you very much.
I went to Los Angeles for pilot season and I showed them my tits. I kind of came late to the Walking Dead thing. I got the pilot thing. And I read it, and it just, it was like, what? It was like, buddy roommate drama, cop show, fucking lawyer show, Walking Dead. And I was like, get me in on that. And they said all the roles are pretty much taken, and I think they originally were gonna see me for like a future like guest part or something, I don't know, but I went in and I read Merle's lines, and then I heard that Rooker had the part, and then I went back to New York, and they brought me back in to read again, and I thought maybe Rooker couldn't do it or something, or he said no for some stupid reason, and then...
You can do it!
Shut up. Anyway,
Rule of threes.
Yeah, so that's it. so anyway, I left that thing and got a call later saying that there's a new part they have and they want you to play it. And
And originally you thought like it was more of a like kind of a one-note part, right? It wasn't as developed.
I mean, I never had a conversation with anybody about Daryl, to be honest, not Frank or anybody, and they kind of let me just run with it. Love you too. So I just kind of ran with it, and with TV you kind of get to bob and weave and drop these little seeds, and they turn into storylines, and sometimes the writers are very open with us, and they invite us into the writers' room, and we can so what does Daryl think about T-Dog, whatever. And
Pour some out.
and then do we have to pour some shit on the ground or something like that? But anyway, but sometimes, I say something, they're like, no, Norman, shut up. No, you can't do that. So, it's a collaborative thing, so it's cool.
What about you, Laura? I mean, how did you, it was a pretty sudden move for you, right?
Yeah, it was good. I was in Ireland. I love you. And I went to Ireland for a wedding, and I auditioned the day I got there. I sent a tape over, and then it was a 4-day wedding because they do it well over there. And then the second day they said, come to Atlanta and test with Steven. And they called back and then they said, don't test, just come over. And so I left the wedding and went to start on The Walking Dead. So it was the beginning of a wonderful story.
How has what this turned into, like, matched what you expected? I mean, did you expect it to be, like, such a physical, grueling thing, or that you'd be covered in shit at all times?
No idea. I mean, when I first watched the series, I watched the whole series in one go. The first 6 episodes, and I was on a plane when I was watching it, and they were bringing dinner around, and I was literally, I remember the flight attendants just kind of being disturbed by, like, my retching and leaping and stuff. I was terrified by the first one. I had zombie dreams for weeks for the first time. Like, I'd wake up, turn over in bed, and there was a zombie, and I didn't, you know, it wasn't real. And,
What about you, Steven? How did it, like, compare to what you expected?
You know, this was my first like big job. So for me, all I could think of was like, don't fuck it up. And, when you landed, you know, a lot of people, you get this question a lot. Where like, did you know it was going to be what it turned into when you were starting? And no, I was just happy to have a job. And I remember landing on set and being surrounded by amazing writing, amazing direction, amazing producing, and then awesome cast and crew. And you're sitting there surrounded by these really great people, and even they're saying to me like, dude, it's not going to get as good as this. Like, I can feel that it's good. And they've been at it for a while, so they're like, I just caught off of something and that sucked ass. This feels really good. And you don't know what that means until people watch it, but then when it came out, people went bonkers for it. So, again, thank you guys. That's really what
Was the reaction, like, pretty much instantaneous? I mean, did it feel like it hit right away?
Well, you know, when we started the show, we used Night of the Living Dead as our sort of benchmark. You know, that was the Darabont. You know, I mean, when we watched the scene with Bill Heintzman in the cemetery, the first walker, and if you really think about the first walker, the first zombie, and you really think about the fact that he chases her out of the cemetery, picks up a rock, he smashes the window of the car in. So the rules change, and even in the first season, our walkers are a little bit different because the little girl walker picks up her teddy bear, and they use rocks to break the department store window. So, you know, our rules have changed. But the thing that I was most proud of the show is these are themes that have been seen before in other zombie shows, but because of the cast, because of the storytelling, it feels new and it feels fresh. And you know, when we killed Amy in season 1, you know, it had emotion, it had compassion, it had power. You know, we were talking earlier about the first walker that's in the park, the half girl, the bicycle girl that's crawling along the ground. And what's fascinating to me about that scene is you actually feel compassion for that. You get a sense of who that person was before they died and became this undead, crawling half corpse. And when you feel emotion, that's what genre stuff is supposed to do. It's supposed to pull you in and make you feel something. And I think our show, because of our cast and our writing, this is the quietest it's ever been. What happened, everybody? I got everybody right here.
That's how good you are, though. I mean, he makes...
I put them all to sleep in like 1 second.
About feeling compassion for these dead things. I mean, you see the scared, dying, lost person behind the monster. That's how good you are.
Yeah, you fucking...
Is that why